All right, everybody. Good morning. This is Jose Trujillo, world's greatest living artist, baby. Good morning. Good morning. Just dropped off my son in school. A quick reminder. If you're in the U.S., please go vote. Okay? Do your civic duty. I voted early, so I already did that. But please go vote. All right, so let's get that out of the way. It matters, though. Okay, just a little reminder. It matters. Make your voice heard. If you don't want loonies around town, you got to make your voice heard. Okay. Too many fucking loonies around town. No bueno. Regardless of what you believe or where you stand, go vote. All right. So here we go. Good morning, everybody. Good morning. Good morning. This is Jose Trujillo, world's greatest living artist. Yeah, baby. Hey. This is hammer time. You know what hammer time is? Hammer time is the time when this badass hombre comes to you and talks to you about getting your mental right, getting that mindset right. If your mental ain't in the right place, it ain't gonna work out, baby. It ain't gonna work out. Okay, you gotta go put that mental in the right place. Get that fucking loco and put it in the right place. You gotta put the loco in the right place. Most people fail because their loco, right, their mental, is not in the right place. That's why most people fail. I've seen it. I've been there. Of course, you don't fail unless you give up, right? As long as you don't give up, you don't fail. You're learning. It doesn't matter if you fall. You could fall. You could fall for, I don't know, a million times, whatever. As many times as you need to fall. You can fall, dust yourself off, dust off, clean your nose, wash your face, put your boots back on, and jump on that fucking horse again. We're all cowboys around town anyways. You need to. That's the only reason you fail is because you stop trying. Okay? Here's what success, I think success looks like. And success, I mean different degrees of success, right? There's different degrees of success. There's the shit, man, I sold something. And then there's the shit, man, I can pay some bills. And there's the shit, man, I can, I can make it into a business. I can get my wife to come work with me. And then there's maybe I can have my wife just hang out with me and not work with me, or she could just do whatever she wants, right? That's the thing that I'm looking for right now. I want to make sure that she loves working, but I want to make sure that she's well taken care of and she doesn't really have to work unless she feels like it, right? That's what I'm after. And there's different degrees of success, whatever that is for you. But regardless of what you're looking for, the only thing that stops you from reaching your next level, it's your mental. See, this is something that I've been learning. The level that you're seeking, okay, the level that you're seeking in your art career, your life, whatever, the level that you're seeking, you cannot show up the way you are to that level. You want to show up to a gunfight with knives. You can't. That's like such a guy thing. We show up to a good fight and you only have a knife. Yeah. You can't show up with what you got right now. Sorry. It's taking me, in Spanish we say, it's taking me both cojones to learn. We have a saying, one and half of the other one, to learn this. You cannot show up to the next level with who you are right now. It's impossible. You got to become someone else. You got to become someone else. And I believe that two things, I'm sure there's more, but two that are very, very consistent and I can observe, two things that will allow you to make that happen. Two things I've seen over and over. I've studied the guys and the girls, the people that have reached very high levels of success. I study them, I continue to study them, and I see two things, two correlations, two pillars. Those. One, they have in common. One of them is that their purpose is very, very fucking high. That's one. Their purpose is very high. So, that's one, okay? The other one is that they do so much in very small pockets. And I know this is very hard for many people to understand because most people have a perfectionist attitude. But they do so much in small pockets. If you do so much in small pockets, your life is going to change. And I believe that those two things are really they're really the factor. They're that thing that's going to propel you to the next level. Your purpose has to be so high. Let me break them down really quick. Okay? Purpose, high, very high purpose, number one. And number two, notice I didn't say goals, okay? I said purpose. Number two, be able to create so much productivity in a very short period of time. Okay? These two things stacked together, I believe that I even get excited just thinking about them. I really believe that these two things are the fuel. They're the fuel to your rocket. I've seen the people that have reached high levels of success, and one after another, in different ways, but they're saying exactly the same thing. They're saying high purpose, do the impossible. And many of them break what the impossible is. Many of them break it up. They're generous enough to show the rest of us what it looks like. It means do so much productivity in a very short period of time. That takes a lot of guts. It takes a lot of energy, but it takes more guts than energy. Okay, and I'll explain to you why right now. So the first one, have a high purpose. It's very much like this. Let's say that, I don't know, you're an athlete, right? You're an athlete. And you want to, I don't know, let's say that your goals is like, oh my God, I want to make so much money, or I want to be sponsored, and, you know, blah, blah, blah. I don't know. I want to be signed by this big labels and all of this. And that's cool. Those are great goals and those are motivators. But let's say that your child or your wife or, you know, depend on you being an athlete. And someone tells you, you know what, if you don't make it to that team over there, if you don't make it to that team, you're going to lose your child. This is what movies are made of, right? If you don't make it to that team, you're going to lose your child. You're not fighting anymore to be the best at the team or to make it to the team. You're fighting for a greater purpose. You're fighting to not lose your child, right? You're fighting to not lose your wife, your husband. You're fighting to make sure that your mom, if you have a health condition and someone tells you, you know what, if you don't fix that health condition, you're not gonna. I heard, who did I hear? Ed Milet talk about this. Yeah, he said that the doctor told him, look, if you don't take care of your arteries, right? He had a condition. He's like, let me ask you this question. The doctor told him, do you have kids? And he said, no, well, my wife is pregnant. My wife is 6 months pregnant. That's what he answered, right? And he said, oh, okay. So the doctor told him, okay, here's my question to you. When she grows up and she's being married and she's getting married and someone, she's being walked through the aisle, do you want to be the guy who walks your daughter through the aisle or some other guy, some stranger? And the guy's like, whoa, hold on, And he's like, you're not, if you continue your lifestyle, you're not going to walk your daughter through the aisle when she gets married. And his wife was 6 months pregnant at the time, right? So this is a conversation he had with the doctor. And this was the motivator for him. Right? He was like, wait a minute. See, his motivation of health was not him. His motivation to have great health wasn't him. He put it at a higher purpose. I need to be there for my daughter. Like, I don't want some other, I don't want some asshole walking my daughter through the aisle. It's got to be me, right? It's got to be me. So anyways, that's what worked for him. And this is what I'm trying to tell you. Look, if the motivator, if your whatever motivation you have is not substantial enough, it's not big enough, you're probably not going to go after it. Okay? That's the first one. The second one is if your productivity level, okay? But first you got to commit to something, right? First you got to commit to something. You got to commit to some higher. You got to show up for something bigger than yourself. You commit to that. And then your activity level has to be far greater than what it is right now. I mean, that's common sense, right? It's common sense, but I mean, common sense ain't that common. So let's say that you want to make a living as an artist and you're like, man, how do I do it? How do I do it? I answer to you right now. I will give you the secret of secrets. What you're doing right now does not cut it. It's not what you know. Don't even think about that yet. Most artists get lost in that. They're like, oh my God, I might be missing some information. No, you're not missing information. You're missing production. That's what you're missing. You're missing production. You're not missing information. It's production you're missing. If your art career is not where you want it to be, it's not because you lack knowledge, guys. I know a lot of people talk about that. They're like, oh, things you don't know. Well, maybe you didn't know this. Now you know it, okay? It's not that you lack knowledge. It's your production. Your production sucks. And I don't mean to be offensive with this, or it's just the way it is. The diet doesn't work. Well, maybe you don't run enough. Maybe the production sucks. You thought about that one? I can't sell enough houses if you're a realtor. Well, maybe your production sucks. See, most people go into, well, because I don't know how to do it. It's not really that, guys. I know a lot of gurus out there are trying to sell you that. It's not really that. It's that you don't do it enough. That's really the problem. The problem is that you don't do it enough. And so most people focus on how to do things right, but almost nobody focuses on doing things enough. See, when you start doing things enough, you start doing things right. You start figuring out what works and what doesn't. But most people don't even get to that part. And most artists that I know never paint enough to make a career out of it. But yet they want a career out of it, but they never paint enough. They never create enough work. They go as far as making a little YouTube channel and doing some little sketches and some little drawings, and they think that that's going to cut it. And while that could sell you a painting here or there, or that could keep you kind of your hopes up and down, it's not going to cut it. See, every new level will require you to be a whole different person. You cannot show up to another extra $1,000 a month with the same you. It's impossible. This is the hardest thing, I think, to grasp, to understand. You cannot show up to the next level with the same behavior. It's not the thought. Most people are trying to fix their thinking, and I think that is extremely important. But most of us forget the behavior. The behavior. You cannot show up with the same behavior. The behavior is ultimately the thing that will separate you from the rest, or from the old you. You know, you cannot show up with you're like, oh man, I want to sell 2 paintings next month, right, at a gallery show. You cannot show up to that extra 2 paintings that you're selling with the behavior that you're doing right now. No matter how different you think, if the behavior doesn't change, it ain't happening. So ultimately, the thing that makes you change that is who you see yourself as, your identity. Tony Robbins has talked about this many, many times. Your identity is really the cause of change. This is why it's so important to have such high purpose, a very high purpose, and a very different behavior, because that will ultimately change your identity. Those things will change your identity. You will no longer see yourself as the same person. You will see yourself as someone else. If you're in sales and you're making phone calls, and you're used to making 20 phone calls a day, but instead of making 20 phone calls a day, I don't know, you all of a sudden you pray to the right, saint, and you start making 100 phone calls a day instead of 20. You change your behavior, right? Now, why would you make 100 phone calls instead of 20? Because you have a higher purpose, right? Remember, we started there. You have to have a higher purpose, a reason why you're going to do that. And then you go, instead of making 20 phone calls, you make 100 phone calls a day. Your behavior changed. You will see yourself as someone else. You will see yourself as someone else. Your identity has changed, right? Your identity is no longer the person that is going to make 20 phone calls a day and that hangs out next to the water cooler, or goes, I don't know, and has a smoke every 30 minutes. Your behavior, or that leaves work to go to the bar, right? Because now you've made so many more phone calls, you've added more productivity to your day, your behavior changes, your identity changes. It's that simple. But most of us are running around making it so fucking complicated. We're making it so complicated. I mean, to be fair, it's pretty damn complicated if nobody talks about it. It can be pretty damn complicated, and it can be also pretty damn complicated if everyone who's talking about it doesn't know what the hell they're talking about and are giving all kinds of bad advice. Look, I kid you not, okay? This happened to me. This happened in my life. And I couldn't correlate it. I couldn't understand it. The moment I changed my productivity, my life changed. I think it took I don't know. I'm not joking here, okay? I think it took about 2 weeks, maybe a week or two, and my life changed crazy. The moment I changed my behavior. All I had to do was change my behavior. The funny thing is that years went by and I never really correlated it to that. I just thought that I got lucky or or I was very committed and it was very cool or whatever, but I never correlated my behavior. Maybe I did, but not in a deeper sense as I'm doing it now. Now that I'm older, I've been there longer. The moment that I changed my behavior, I went from painting every now and then to really kicking ass every day. Just change my behavior. That's all I did. All I had to do was just, and I'm not talking about change my behavior as in like change everything about myself. No, I just increased productivity. That's all I really did. I just increased productivity. The moment that I increased productivity, look, if you're a blogger, okay, I don't know anything about blogs, but I know this. I know productivity. If you're a blogger and you're used to doing one video, I don't know, a week, a month, the moment you start shooting out 2, 3, 5 videos a day, listen to what I just said. You were doing one video a month. The moment that you start shooting 3 or 5 videos a day, that you make that your business. You make shooting videos your business. You make sure you make that your business, your life is going to change. No way in hell your life is not going to change that way. Like, your life will change. Period. End of story. The moment that you make that your business, I'm not talking about business, you make that your deal, right? If you're a blogger and you're like, oh, I'm going to make videos, I'm going to put them videos on YouTube, and that's what you do, you're a blogger, and you're like, oh my God, I can't wait to do the perfect blog, and, forget about perfect bullshit. If you're doing one video a month, the moment that you start hitting 3, 5 videos a day, your shit's going to change. Like that. Productivity trumps everything else. I don't care about how good it is, how perfect. There's all these people out there talking about, even talk against it, against productivity. In my humble estimation, they don't know what the hell they're talking about. They're dilettantes. It looks good only on surface. It looks good on surface. I've met a couple like that. It looks good on surface only. They have a great camera. They spend so much time on it. They play so much with it. This happens with artists too. They play a lot with it. They want it so perfect that they never reach productivity levels. They never reach high productivity levels. They want to make sure that whatever they do reflects who they are, their ego sense of self, and so they never do productivity. And I believe that the reason they never do productivity to begin with is because the purpose is not high enough. When I changed my life as an artist, the very first time that I did that, I was about to lose everything. I had lost everything. I had lost my job, and my wife and I had lost our small business. So see, my purpose was high. I needed to make it work. I needed to make something work. So the purpose was very high. I was on fight or flight, right? Mode. I was in crisis mode. And this is what most people don't get. Like, when you need something, when you need it to work, you will show up to it. When you really need something to work, you will show up to it. You're not gonna play with it. You're gonna show up to it. But this is a quote. I think it's Malcolm X who said this. That which you don't hate, you will eventually tolerate. Okay? That which you don't hate, you will eventually tolerate. Why? Because you'll grow accustomed to it. You'll grow accustomed to it. If you don't hate it enough, you're gonna grow accustomed to it. It goes for limiting beliefs, anything. You know, if you don't dislike the position you're in, you're going to learn to accept it. This doesn't mean that you have to be negative and spend all your time negative. I heard about some super successful people say that they do what it's the 80-20, right? They spend 80% of their time. I'm not talking about productivity here now, okay? I'm talking about acceptance and dislike about your position. 80% they spend in gratitude. Okay, stacking gratitude. They're like, you know, I'm grateful for my body. I'm grateful for my life. I'm grateful for my job. I'm grateful for my artwork, and on and on. 80% they spent on that, and 20%, okay, they spend on kicking their own ass, and not in a negative way, but in a, hey, it's time to move to the next phase. It's time to move to the next phase. Okay, 80% of their attitude is about gratitude, and 20% is about pushing. Okay, it's time to push. It's time to go to the next level. And so there's a disproportion of gratitude, which is extremely important. It's the most important part. But there is a portion of that. They call it the 80-20, like the 80-20 rule of productivity. 20% of their attitude, I guess, is about kicking their own ass and reminding themselves that they need to go to the next level. Okay, they need to go to the next level. Very cool. So you need to become a different person. Your identity needs to change. Your identity needs to change. And the way you change your identity is, like Tony Robbins already said it. So many other people have said it, but the reason I use Tony Robbins is because, come on, he's like he's the Oprah of self-help, you know. I guess Oprah is the Oprah of self-help, but more in the consciousness state. I think he's more about doing, right? So he talked about this. He talks about, hey, you know, you need to change the person that you are. You need to change your identity. In other words, you can't say, oh yeah, well, I'm an artist, I'm this, I'm that. No, you have to change how you perceive yourself. Who is it that you are? And the way that you change how you perceive yourself is that you change, you go beyond goals and you reach purpose. Who are you working for? Who are you showing up for? You know, who are you showing up for? Are you doing it for yourself? Are you doing it for a greater purpose? Are you doing it for a greater power? Do you want to help people? Do you want to help yourself? You know, do you want to help, like a greater thing, right? Like most people don't stop a bad habit just for themselves. They link it to something else. They're like, I need to stop drinking for my daughter. I need to stop drinking for my wife. I need to stop drinking they don't just do it for themselves. They go at it for a higher purpose, right? They do it for a higher purpose. Most, it's an anchor. It's an anchor. Right? Well, if you're not going to do it for yourself, do it for someone you love. You're going to lose that person. You know, so they use an anchor, a high anchor, to get out of that hole. So that's number one. And number two, your productivity needs to change. Your productivity needs to be so high that when people see you working, they think you're fucking bananas. They're actually telling you to stop. When people see you working, they actually tell you, you're going to hurt yourself. You're going to get sick. Stop. No, that's not the way to do it. Keep going. You have my permission. When people see you working, when people see you doing whatever you're doing, rest, right? Go to sleep. But you got 16 hours to kick ass. And once you get those two things going on, a high purpose and productivity stacked together, the way you see yourself is going to change. See, if you see yourself as a sucky baseball player, I don't know. I just saw a baseball sticker right now. Right? The reason why you see yourself as a sucky baseball player is because your productivity is that of a sucky baseball player, guys. Please get this. Please get this. Those of you who are trying to get some help from this señor, this hombre. Show up earlier than everyone else and leave later than everyone else and do more than everyone else, and you will see yourself as a different baseball player. If you go to practice, if you go to baseball practice when everybody shows up, and then you leave when everybody shows up, and you suck at it, that is your identity. But if you show up 3 hours before everyone and you leave 3 hours after everyone leaves, your identity will change. You're actually going to be all warmed up. When everybody gets there, you're at peak performance. I had a family member tell me, Kelly says, I had a family member tell me to get a life because I was working late on Sunday. Yeah, they have no idea what they're talking about. I love that. Sundays are for work.
What can I get for you?
Can I please have a venti iced coffee with half and half and classic?
Anything else?
Yeah, let me have you guys have those holiday turkey and stuffing panini?
Yeah.
Let me have 2 of those, please.
What else are we getting?
And a bottle of water.
Are those paninis warmed up for now or saved for later?
No, for now, please.
Anything else?
That'll be all.
See you at the window.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, most people won't understand. Most people don't even get it. Especially family members and friends, they don't understand. This is why it's so important. Oh, here's another little tip. If you want your thermostat to change, those of you who don't know what a thermostat is, I mean, we know what a thermostat is, but I'm talking about in your life. It's your comfort level, right? Let's say that you're an artist who makes, I don't know, production as an artist. You produce artwork, but you make about, I don't know, a couple of $1,000 a month selling your artwork, right? That's where your thermostat is. What this high, super successful people suggest is if you want to take it from $2,000 to $10,000 or to $5,000, I don't know. Let's say that you want to take it from $2,000 to $5,000 a month, selling artwork, making $5K a month. Hang out with people that are making $10, $20K a month. If you make $1,000 and you want to make $5,000, okay, hang out with someone who's making at least $10,000. Hang out with 2 of them, 5 of them, 10 of them, whether they're artists or not. Okay, hang out with people. I'm not telling you ditch your friends, but maybe you have to. I don't know, depending on what type of friends you got. But start hanging out with people that are making more than you because they will raise your thermostat.
Good morning. Back again. Awesome. 2043.
You know what? Can you add a? No, it's because last time I got my coffee earlier, it didn't have classic.
Oh, it didn't have the
No,
classic?
so if I could get a grande
A grande
hot coffee with classic.
classic.
Yeah.
Any cream in there?
Cream.
Can I get a grande?
I'm going to pick up my wife.
The water in the paninis for you.
Thank you so much. I appreciate that. Oh, can I get a cup holder for that?
A cup holder? Yeah, of course.
Thank you. Oh, I'm on Starbucks. I'm at Starbucks. Totally am. I was just there myself. Yeah. Guys, I need some coffee. Everybody needs coffee. Come on. You know that coffee throughout history? Oh, thank you so much. Appreciate it. Has been the drink of the geniuses. Just saying. Coffee is the drink of the geniuses. So it's something like that, guys. Look, if you want your life to change, this goes, I think, for anything, right? This is the stuff that I myself am working on, and I'm passing it on. As I learn it, and as I have these insights, I need to share them, because not only when I share them, I help other people, but I also help myself. It's a reminder. I must be an Einstein. It's true. It's true. I promise you, it's true. I read somewhere. I read a while ago that coffee and very smart people, it's linked together. People that drink a lot of coffee tend to be very smart. Or I don't know if because they're smart they drink a lot. I don't know, but coffee and being very smart, it's linked together. Just saying. Just saying. But yeah, guys, look, as I'm learning these things, I'm sharing them with you guys. I'm passing them on. I think it's important to pass these things on, to share this insights, because many times it's knowledge that we know, but it's how we take it, or when we take it. The delivery of it also is so important. If I'm happy, if I'm enthusiastic about sharing this, it will have a different energy than if I'm like upset and I read this somewhere and I'm like, oh look guys, I'm going to share with you guys this. No, if I'm enthusiastic, it's because I too myself, I'm taking it in, and I'm absorbing it, I'm living it, I'm breathing it, I'm excited about it. So I share it with the same enthusiasm. Guess what? You know, it's going to rub off. It's going to be like, oh man, I get this cat. I get it. I get what he's talking about. So I think it's just so important. I wanted to be the artist who just painted like everyone else and just did little, what do you call them? Little videos of paintings and ish like that, you know. But everybody does that, you know. I wanted to do something different here, and in my YouTube channel as well. I wanted to do something different. I wanted to share sort of a vlog my insights, my life as things are going. A little bit of philosophy in there, a little bit of esoteric, you know, airy-fairy philosophy in there. Just things that I believe they go deeper than, oh look guys, this is how you make green, you know, you mix yellow and blue and this is how you do it. And I mean, I feel like knowledge is just, we're saturated by it, you know, just like common stuff. I think that we can go a little bit beyond, and I don't want to be the artist who's like, oh, let me show you how to do things. Like, I really believe that everybody's got their own twist and their own thing. I just want to be able to empower people. That's all I want to do. I just want to be able to empower people and tell as many artists, look, you know, you got it. Oh, I'm sorry. I just can see you're here. Oh yeah, I'm like this. Awesome. Thank you so much. But I want to be able to empower people. I want to be able to share these things, these insights with people, and hopefully you get you get to soak that in, and use it and benefit from it, and maybe pass it on. Maybe DJ the content and make your own video and say, look, this is what I heard today, or this is an insight I had while I was listening to this stuff. And I don't know, it's rinse it and repeat it, pass it on. You don't have to give credit to me, but it'd be cool if you're like, I heard this guy named Jose Trujillo. But, guys, I really think that it's important just to remind ourselves of what we're capable of. Like I was saying last night, there's so many people already around us saying that we're not good enough, that we can't do it. That in subtle ways, they don't blatantly and overtly tell you that you suck, right? It's subtle. It's like, are you sure you want to do that? They're really saying, I don't really believe that you can, and neither should you. That's really what that means, right? Are you sure you want to do that? Or like someone told Kelly here, get a life. You're working on a Sunday night. Working on a Sunday night, get a life. That's a horrible thing to tell someone. That is the life, right? That is the life. I think work is talked so negatively, especially in this country. We talk about work so negatively, and it's because I really think it's because people want to be complacent. I mean, if you got a phone, you got a big flat screen TV, and you can watch the game all the time, your comfort is taken care of. You are at a comfort level that it's a first world country. You're cool. You don't really have to do so much to make things happen. Because the basic commodities, I guess, or basic necessities are very much met. I remember when I came here to the States, one of the first things that we realized was, look, everybody has a car. My family and I, that's one of the first things we said. Everyone has a car because where I grew up in Mexico, it's a big city, there's a lot of cars, but it doesn't mean that every family owns one, and it doesn't mean that every family member owned one, right? Maybe now, I don't know, but when I was a kid, not every family member owned one. Here in the States, every family member owns a car. The dad has a car, the wife has a car, and the kids have a car. That was unheard of in Mexico. I mean, where I was, I don't know if I can't speak for all of Mexico, but I'm from a pretty big city in Guadalajara, and that's one of the very first things that we noticed. Look, everybody has another one of the first things that I noticed when I came here. I was like, everybody has a Nintendo, right? Where I grew up, we would take turns. Not everybody had a Nintendo. I grew up, we had Ataris and Nintendos. I remember the Switch, about having that. Those of you who remember Atari. That was one of the very first things we noticed. Every household has a Nintendo. That's fucking unbelievable. So basic necessities for entertainment and comfort are very much met. So I believe that people are going to say, what else do you want? What else do you want? And I think that they misinterpret. It's not that I want things. It's that I want to grow and evolve as a human being. And I want to expand, and I want to have a different mindset. I want to go after more in a different way, not just in a materialistic way, but in a I can be more. I can reach out more. I can go higher. I think that's why work is a blessing. I think that's why work is I think work is a gift from God, honestly. Work was given to the human being because, in my humble opinion, because human beings are going through this process of thinking, right? We're in a space of, we think a lot. I believe that this is one of the reasons why there's so much cruelty in the world, or the only reason. Human beings, we think a lot. So work, and it's part of the evolutionary process of the human being. Someday, maybe we'll get to a place where everybody's like is going to be like Jesus, or like like one of those great prophets, or a saint, or whatever. So everybody's going to stop thinking so much, and be in a utopian state. Maybe, I don't know. Who cares? But right now we all think so much that we need work to balance us. We need purpose and work to balance our lives. So, anyways, I'll leave you guys with that. I gotta pick up my wife. My name is Jose Trujillo. I'm an artist, and I hope that you guys have an awesome day. All right, go get it. Take care.